Alright, so this video is more so a result of me spending a lot of money on King books because I began scaling the verse, and once you start scaling the Stephen King verse, you can't stop. You have to keep going, dog. So hundreds of dollars later, several novels later, I'm here with my first scaling guide slash tracker. I'm not sure what I want to call this, but this is going to be my scaling guide to the King verse. It's likely going to end up multiple videos. I'm honestly planning like 20 plus at least videos with King content, everything from versus battles, crossover events, what ifs, how strong is, explanations, all that. We're going to be doing a lot of wild content, so I'm glad you are here. And to really start this video, we're going to go over some of the basics of the verse scaling, and then I'm going to give you guys the 10 characters I believe you need to know if you want to get into the scaling of the King verse, and if you want individual videos on them, because I'm going to briefly go over what they do, what they bring to the table. If you want individual videos on them, hit the comment section, and the best way to get my attention in the comment section is if you see a comment that you agree with. Let's say you want to see a I don't know, Gone video, right, or Gan comment, and then if you like that comment, the more likes it gets, the more likely I am to see it. So keep that in mind when you're in the comment section, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do. With that being said, let's begin, and I hope you enjoy. So first off, basic universe of the Stephen King verse. Couple arguments for where it scales. One, high hyperversal just for the basic universe. So like Derry, Maine, that universe, bare minimum high hyperversal. And I'll explain why in a second, but there is a second argument for why even the basic universe in the King verse should be outerversal. But let's go over the first part. I'm going to read an excerpt from the Dark Tower box set, and you guys go ahead and let me know what you think of this. So, the greatest mystery the universe offers is not life, but size. Size encompasses what we consider life, and the tower encompasses size. Tower, of course, refers to the Dark Tower, which is what we will refer to. Then it goes on to talk about a discussion between a child and a son on basically how far does the universe go. You see, size defeats us. And this, of course, refers to our mental human comprehension of numbers, dimensions, things like that. We can't truly fathom things beyond our actual cognitive abilities, which is dimensionally bound. For the fish, the lake in which he lives is the universe. What does the fish think when he is jerked up by the mouth through the silver limits of existence and into a new universe where the air drowns him and the light is blue madness, where huge bipeds with no gills stuff it into a suffocating box and cover it with wet weeds to die? Or one might take the tip of a pencil and magnify it. One reaches the point where a stunning realization strikes home. The pencil tip is not solid. It is composed of atoms which whirl and revolve like a trillion demon planets. What seems solid to us is actually only a loose net held together by gravity. Viewed at their actual size, the distances between these atoms might become leagues, gulf, eons. The atoms themselves are composed of nuclei and revolving protons and electrons. One may step down further to subatomic particles. And then to what? Tachyons? Nothing? Of course not. Everything in the universe denies nothing. To suggest an ending is one absurdity. If you fell outward to the limit of the universe, would you find a board fence and signs reading dead end? No. You might find something hard and rounded, as the chick must see the egg from the inside. And if you should peck through that shell or find a door, what great and torrential light might shine through your opening at the end of space? Might you look through and discover our entire universe is but part of one atom on a blade of grass? Might you be forced to think that by burning a twig, you incinerate an eternity of eternities? That existence rises not to one infinite, but to an infinity of them. Okay, yeah, big boy shit. So at least high hyperversal, as you can see, it's never-ending transcendences just within the regular universe alone, an infinity of them. But also, there is physics, right? Physics in the physical world is contained within the beams that lead to the Dark Tower. It's stated everything that defines physics resides in those beams. This is what determines physics, so that means like size, dimension, direction, all those things. So to me, to be on above the beams and to walk on them should be baseline outerversal, right? Well, normal heroes and villains in the Kingverse can do this said action. Quite the case can be made that even the low tiers or characters with almost no action have arguments for inherent outerversal capabilities and irrelevant speed. Absolutely mind-blowing. This verse is OD. Now let's talk about the towers themselves briefly. The Dark Towers connect all of and contain all of where, when, how, why, and so on and so forth. The towers contain all stories, fables, and ideas ever told, written, expressed in some form, or even thought. This includes anything, even RoboCop from real life, other stories in the Kingverse. As long as it's a story, it's in there. They literally do talk about RoboCop, by the way. That's why I was very specific. They compared it to Shardik, the Guardian Bear. But when you look at this, what's mind-blowing about this is that, like, let's say you just think of a story right now. Superman gets mugged on Yancey Street. Technically, that now just became a universe and a storyline somewhere within the Dark Towers. Absolutely nuts. That I like just thinking of crazy stories, and that's now in the Dark Towers is awesome. But we got that out the way, right? I want to start talking about some of the strongest characters in this verse. First, we're gonna go over a few that aren't technically in the top 10. I would put for the watch list, but they deserve to get some recognition. First one, Mother of Mordred, the Chain, aka Mother of None. The fact she popped out Homeboy, the GOAT, Mordred, the Spider Boy, is nuts. You're going to learn more about him later. One of my favorite characters because he's absolutely broken, and he's a boy, and he folded someone horribly. Bro, he's a goon. I can't wait to talk about him. Next character, though, she was the bearer of the child. That is the child of the gunslinger and is the avatar of all gunslingers ever. So it's absolutely wild of a feat that she produced him. So major credit to the Mother of Mordred. Next up, major King characters. The reason I say major Stephen King characters deserve the nod is because he quite literally states in his character form as Stephen King in the verse that he creates these main characters to protect him and to assist him. So all of these things exist to serve him, and serving him includes protecting him from beings like Pennywise. So they are inherently massively stronger than they know. So shout out to the major King characters that made a bigger impact on the verse than they themselves even knew. Finally, Merlin, or Merlin, is just spelled weird, taught black magic to Randall Flagg, aka the Man in Black, being able to teach him some of the abilities and moves that helps Man in Black style on outerversal characters later. So big shout out to the black magic teacher himself. And with that being said, we're going to get into my top 10 characters you definitely need to look out for when scaling the verse. I hope you guys enjoy this next section. I'm going to briefly go over why they're interesting and why they're so strong. And like I said, if you want to see a video on them individually, let me know. So, number 10, Amped Billy. Amped Billy, of course, one of the kids from the It storyline. We are referring to the novels. Billy, at some point when he goes off to fight Pennywise, he has to perform with his homies the ritual of Chud or Chud, however you say it. And when they do so, he gains the ability to access the Macroverse. This is crazy because the Dark Towers, which encompasses the idea of size, encompasses all stories, fables, all that, resides on the back of Maturin, who resides in the Macroverse, and Amped Billy was able to go out into the Macroverse beyond the towers and scrap with Penny. Did he do anything to Penny? No. Could he beat True Form Penny? Hell no. But Amped Billy was a beast, and if you want a video on what he was doing in the novels when he was getting his amps, let me know. Number 9, Gunslinger. At his peak, and what he symbolizes to me puts him on this list. He's above narrative control and manipulation. I think that's one of his craziest feats. So basically his narrative is to finish the story, to finish the journey, right? Well, Man in Black, Randall Flagg, wants to end that. Stephen King himself states he doesn't even want to write the narrative, but the gunslinger's narrative can't be controlled, and so he can't be like styled on by narrative manip. He's too much of a beast. So yeah, him being able to literally defy the author and conclude his narrative or approach his narrative is nuts. Gunslinger is the symbol of the hero trying to finish the journey even when he's not quite sure what that journey is. I love his character. He's amazing. Roland's the man. Definitely deserves to be on this list. Number 8, Man in Black, Randall Flagg. Kind of finesses Gunslinger consistently. My boy Roland was kind of taking L's to Man in Black throughout the verse, throughout the series. Man in Black is in the verse scattered throughout. He's an emissary of the Crimson King, who you'll hear about later. His only thing with Gunslinger is he wasn't strong enough to stop Gunslinger's narrative. He could beat him temporarily, but he couldn't stop the narrative. He aligns many of the events in the lore in the name of the Crimson King and takes one of the hardest L's I've ever read in a book ever. Like, it's crazy. So if you want to see a video on the tragedy of Man in Black, I got y'all. It's horrible. Number 7, Mordred the Chain. My favorite damn character on this list. Listen, Big Mordred the Spider Boy is ugly as shit. He's the son of Roland. He is the avatar of all gunslingers that were or ever will be. Shook the tower with a step. Big Mordred stepping in his Gucci mink flip-flops, styling on everybody. And then he folded Man in Black. Oh my god. So Man in Black pulled up on him. He said, yo, ain't you the dude that's been finessing my dad? And Man in Black was like, what? He's like, yeah, you know what? Man in Black, I'm kind of hungry, bro. Give me some of your body parts to eat. This man made Man in Black dismember himself, disembowel himself, ate him, and brutally murdered him for disrespecting the set. Let's go, Big Mordred. Respect Mordred the Chain, the boys whose funny leg can unlock the towers. Number 6, the Great Old Ones. Not much to talk about here. If you want a video on them, I'll definitely have to explore it more. But Great Old Ones, essentially, as they're explained, aren't necessarily gods, but the story and creation already existed, and then it was suddenly going to get dropped off, and it is stated the Great Old Ones recreated existence. And one of the stories I read, it appeared more so that they basically had beef and it ruined creation in a lot of ways, and so to make up for it, they fixed it, recreated it. So the power to basically reinvent something like the Dark Towers is very impressive for me as a creation feat, and it's why I put them on this list so high. Number 5, Stephen King himself. Now, Stephen King, I will preface this, his character is a wimp, right? He's afraid of smoke with everybody. However, he is so high because his creative hacks are OP. He creates beings that step up to true form. Pennywise, those tier characters. He can basically create stories and create characters strong enough to protect him from things he can't stop himself. So his creative hacks, his reality warping, I guess you would call it, an insane level of it, is what makes him so OP. It's just mentally he's super soft. Next up, number 4, Maturin the Turtle. Now, shout out to Q, talked to my buddy Q. He kind of felt like, in some ways in the book, it was implied Maturin was stronger, but to me it wasn't that way at all in terms of comparing him to Penny. Maturin helped against Penny, but he also said, yo, you don't catch Penny slipping on his turf. You got to catch him outside of his home turf because he'll buck on you. So I had the feeling Maturin wasn't as strong as Penny, plus he just doesn't serve the same role. One's destructive, one just kind of sits there. Just combatively, I don't think it's a good matchup for him against Penny. I know they're supposed to be same tier, but you can be same tier and still be superior to someone. So yeah, I view Maturin as number 4. He's a beast, and it's definitely implied everybody above Stephen King were characters he didn't really create. They were just kind of there, and that's part of the wild scaling of the verse. But yeah, Maturin's there, number 4, and he's definitely a monster, but he's not the strongest. Number 3, and this is going to surprise people, true form Pennywise. Yes, the man that resides outside of all lands, outside of all dimensions, outside even the Macroverse, outside of the stories that reside within the Dark Towers, is Pennywise. The being that every time Stephen King writes, he states he opens himself up to being killed by Pennywise. Pennywise is a monster. I have a specific scaling video on him already out. If y'all want to go see that, make sure to go check it out on my channel. Number 2, Crimson King. Crimson King has been confirmed in the novels to be above Pennywise. He should be the biggest of the big bads in the verse. He even sits at the top of the tower and allegedly plays chess with Gan or Gan and matches up with him solidly. He's like the devil figure of the verse. He's way above Stephen King and everyone else we've listed before, and he's an absolute beast. Finally, number 1, Gan or Gan, Gan. This is the being that gives everyone their purpose in the verse, including the writer, Stephen King. He gives it in the form of the Ka. The Ka is like this sacred energy, and it's basically your way, your will, what you're destined to be, what you're good at, all that. Gon can yell across the Macroverse casually. He humbled Pennywise when Pennywise realized Gon was above him. It made him feel infantile and weak. And like just his existence alone, the knowledge of it just like almost mentally broke Penny. It was kind of funny. But yeah, he's basically the god of the verse, and Stephen King himself says he doesn't do anything of his own will. Everything that everyone does is the will of God. So yeah, he is an absolute beast in the verse. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. If you want these individual videos, let me know. I'm all for the King lore and verse. I'm going to continue to study it because I'm one of those scalers that'll admit, man, there's so much material we have to look into that things have to constantly be updated and changed. I know some channels don't do that, but I like to do that. So if things change, I'll definitely keep you guys updated, and we'll just keep this all in one package so you have a bunch of information for all the scaling you need for the King verse. I'm hoping by the time it's all said and done, I will have composed the best possible scaling and King content anywhere on YouTube. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching. It's been your boy YFE. If you want to support the channel, comment down below if you want to become a member, and I can explain to you how to get the process going. You save over 50% not going through YouTube and instead going through me. So definitely let me know. But anyways, it's been your boy YFE, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.